Hey guys, I had promised y'all earlier that I would tell you the story about what happened whenever I had to have my neck fusion surgery. It is quite a story, and it's really hard for me to get down into 10 minutes. But I did promise you that I would share it. It's an amazing testimony. Um, December of 2022, I come down with the E. coli super infection in my neck from a kidney stone. Of all things, the doctor said it was just a crazy, crazy thing. If you've ever seen a kidney stone, they look like little cockleburrs, right? And so whenever they go through your urethra, they kind of scratch. And whenever they did, um, the E. coli bacteria got into my bloodstream and it settled in my neck. And so I wound up being flown to Dallas, Texas, to have a neurosurgeon and to do my surgery. And whenever I got there, they told me that they was going to have to do a really lengthy MRI on me. Now, before they had sent me to Dallas, I was still in Texarkana, Texas, and they were doing the first MRI to find the infection because it took them nearly 3 weeks to figure out what was going on with my neck. Um, they put me in the MRI in Texarkana, and they was only like 10 or 15 minutes long. But by the time they got me out of there, I was in so much pain, I was crying. And I'm a pretty tough cookie. I can take some pain. So if I'm crying, I am hurting. I am seriously hurting. And so whenever they got me to Dallas and everything, and they told me that they was going to have to do a really lengthy MRI, they said anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours long. I said, there's no way I'm going to be able to be still that long, guys. I can't. Because you have to lay flat back, and they kind of lock you in there and you can't move. And I said, guys, I cannot be still that long. Because every day the pain is just getting worse, and the pain meds that they're giving me, even at Dallas, wasn't cutting it. I mean, it would take it from a screaming 10, maybe down to a 9.7. I mean, because the infection was eating away at my spinal column and eating away at my nerves and my vertebrae in my neck. They just couldn't control my pain. And they actually had to move up my surgery by a couple of days because of the pain and because of my symptoms and stuff. I was losing function in my arms. And it was just a whole thing. It was a crazy thing. And I told them, I said, guys, I cannot be still for that long. Is there any way you can like knock me out for this? And they said, no, because we can't monitor your breathing. And they said, what we'll do is about 20 minutes before we take you down, we'll just pump you full as much pain medication as we can. And then you're just going to have to try to do the best you can. And I also have to tell you this part, because the MRI was going to be so long, and I was going to use contrast. They needed to make sure that my kidneys were in good shape. So they were really pumping a lot of fluids through me. And that's important to the story, is why I'm telling you. So I'm like, okay. So they do all the things right. They have gave me all the pain medications. They're fixing to take me down and put me in the machine and everything. And I have this thing I do whenever I am really scared and I don't really even know what to pray. I just chant the name Jesus. I just Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And so that's what I'm doing, right? They put me in the machine. They get me in there, all locked down, and I start my Jesus, Jesus chant. And I hadn't said Jesus 3 times. I promise you it was 3 times because I'm counting. I'm counting. And it hits me, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. And I said, guys, I'm so sorry. I know you just put me in here, but I've got to go to the bathroom. And they said, no, ma'am, you've been in there for about an hour and a half. No, you just put me in here. I said, you just put me in here. And they said, well, ma'am, as soon as we put you in there, you went to sleep. And I thought, well, praise God. I thought that might have been my miracle right there. But guys, I haven't been able to sleep in weeks. This all started on December the 4th. This is now December 22nd, 23rd. I think it's now, I haven't been able to sleep just a snatch minutes here and there. Even with the pain meds, I haven't been able to sleep. So I thought, awesome. And they said they needed to do about another 30, 45 minutes. So they let me up. I went to the bathroom. They put me back on the table. They slide me back in. I go right back into my Jesus, Jesus chant. Again, I hadn't said it no more than 2 or 3 times. And they're waking me up. Mary, we're done. You can get up. And I'm like, you just put me in here. And they said, every time we put you in there, you go to sleep. They couldn't put me to sleep and monitor my breathing, but Jesus could. He put me to sleep. That way I could be still so they could get good, clear images and they would know what they were facing whenever they got in there. So, man, that was miracle number one right there. And no one will ever convince me otherwise. Because even after the MRI, I still wasn't able to sleep. So you can't say it was the pain meds because I was on the same pain meds the day before, the day of, and the day after. And I didn't sleep like that. So I know it was Jesus putting me to sleep. Okay, so we're not going to come to the day of surgery. They come in there, and the surgeon has given me the spill. He said, this is extremely serious. He said, even with the MRI images, we still won't know exactly what we're facing until we get in there. He said, there's a good chance you won't make it off the table because the infection again was right here at the base of my skull. I lost vertebrae 3 and 4, and I'll show you a picture of my X-rays in just a second. And he said, there's a good chance if you do make it through, you're going to be paralyzed from the shoulders down. I mean, I had to have the talk with my husband because my boys hadn't made it there yet because they had moved up my surgery because my symptoms were progressing. I wasn't able to lift my arms. I was having full-blown body shimmers and shakes and stuff just from the infection eating away at my spinal column. Okay, so they are taking me into the operating room, right? And I am more scared than I have ever been in all of my life, even knowing if I was not to make it, I would be in heaven with Jesus. I wasn't ready to go yet. I wanted to be here with my husband, with my children, with my grandchildren. I wasn't ready yet, and I was scared. And so I was doing my Jesus, Jesus, Jesus thing, right? And I'm watching them in the operating room, and they're busy getting everything ready and stuff. And the nurse comes to me and she said, Mary, we're fixing to put you under. And she comes at me, she has that mask, and she's fixing to put over my face. And guys, I felt the presence of Jesus Christ come in that room. And it was just like he just wrapped me up in this hug, and he's like, I'm here and I got you. I am here and I got you, and it's going to be okay. And I wish I could find the words to describe the peace that just flew through my body. I have never felt such love, such peace, my whole body just went limp. I just went limp. My whole body just relaxed. And I still didn't know what my outcome was going to be, but I knew I was going to be okay. And then she put that mask on me, and I went out, and it only lasted a few seconds. And my sister asked me, she said, did I think anybody else in that room felt it? And I said, no, because revival would have broke out. It was so strong. Revival would have broke out in that operating room. I said, he was there for me. And so they went in, and they had to do a lot more. Let me show you you see how much metal I have in my neck? All the way from my C2, all the way down to my T2. I have got a lot of metal in my neck. This one right here. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. I lost a lot of motion in my head. I can't do that. My neck is actually, I have a Barbie neck. You know how a Barbie doll, how just her head will swivel? Her neck doesn't move. Well, that's me. My neck doesn't move. What movement you see is just from that one little vertebrae that's left, my C1. So, it has been since then that the fire was just lit in my soul, because you don't experience Jesus like that and not come out changed. You don't experience Jesus like that and not come out on fire for him. You don't have Jesus wrap you up in his arms and it not change you forever. Forever I am changed. I am just, and for all of the pain that I went through before surgery, my recovery after surgery, I would do it again and again and again, just to experience those few seconds in his presence. That's how profound it was. That's how life-changing it is. He is real, and he loves you with a love that I cannot describe to you. I can't describe to you how much he loves you, but he does, and I felt that. I got to experience that. And I just want the whole world to know. I just want the whole world to know. And that's why I'm real big about calling him, he's my Jesus. He's my Jesus, and he loves you. And he is good, and he is so, there's just not words to describe what he is. There's just not. But I am okay. Do I have limitations? Sure I do. But I am okay. He walked me through it. He got me through it. And every day he still does. And every day to the day he calls me home, I will shout and I will tell. And I will tell people about my Jesus and what he did for me and what he wants to do for them. All right. Well, I love y'all. Y'all be blessed. Bye.